Good evening, Austria, or Vienna. How are you doing? Okay, fire away. Okay, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. First time in Vienna, so it's absolutely great. Your city's beautiful. Yes. So today I'm going to be talking about updating mobile apps without the App Store. First of all, who's got a mobile phone? Who's not got a mobile phone? Oh my God, there's a lot of you that don't have phones. All right. Anyways, so if you see me staring on my phone, this is just my keypad. So yeah. So like the great what's it called? The person that introduced me said, my name is Sani Yusuf. I'm Nigerian, but I live in London, which is a very nice city. Not as nice as Vienna, unfortunately. So I founded Hybrid. I'm the co-organizer of Ionic UK. I recently traveled the world for 8 months, which was fun. Who here has seen the movie Avatar? Avatar. The blue people, not the Last Airbender. Like Avatar. Yeah. Good? Exactly. Who hasn't seen Avatar? Security? Yeah, I found them. Exactly. It's the best movie of all time, by the way. So you can find me online at saniyusuf.com or at Sani Yusuf everywhere. If you find anyone using that username and they don't look like me, let me know so I can sue them, because trademark. All right, let us begin. So, everybody wants a mobile application, right? We want mobile apps. We want this great application. And today, when you look at mobile apps, when you're building a mobile application, there's so many things you need to think about, right? But if I was going to list everything you need to think about, we'll probably spend the whole night here. So I just kind of dot means like, and the rest that I didn't say. But yeah, the things that we want to focus on are, you develop your mobile application, and then you start to think of the multiple platforms you want to support, right? Because there's iOS, there's Android, Windows Phone if you still have one, BlackBerry if you're still there, if you were not smart enough to buy an Ubuntu mobile phone, yeah, you still have one. Or maybe you just have a Nokia 3310, which is the greatest phone that ever lived. And also, you need to think about distribution, right? How do I get my great mobile application to the end user, right? So now you do that, and then you also need to think about how do I then distribute from there, or how do I create updates, right? Everybody agree? Good. Okay. So let's talk about development. So in terms of development, you would want to develop your apps natively, right? So when I say natively, this is the first option. You'd want to create your app with, something like, for using iOS, you'd want to do, Objective-C and Swift. You'd want to use the UI library kit, and you want to use Xcode, which eats a lot of RAM, so pretty good. And yeah, so you'd use these tools. These tools are great. You develop your nice application, you go and sell it for like $1 million and then sell it again for $1 billion. You buy a house on the beach. And then also you need to support Android, right? You'd want to code your Android application with Java or C++. Not a lot of people use C++, but yeah, it's possible. And then you use the Android SDK, and then also Android Studio. Stop using Eclipse if you still do. Please stop using Eclipse. Just stop. And then we go on to Windows Phone, we go to Windows Phone, but no. Just no. Do not do that. I do not approve. So you go onto Windows Phone, and then, so we can say, development, problem solved, right? We know how to develop our apps now, right? For iOS and Android and Windows Phone. I'm joking. So next thing now we want to move on to is, you want to think of how you want to support multiple platforms, right? You want to support as many platforms as you want. You've just, this great idea, and you want to, maybe there's 50 million people using iPhones, there's 150 million people using Android. You want to, you want all these people to use your application. So how do you go about to support them? Said again. Exactly. Great. Exactly. So today, if you're building a mobile application, you can take the hybrid approach, right? And what do we mean by hybrid approach? So what is a hybrid app actually? When you use iOS SDK, you can't take that code and do your Android app with the same code. It's impossible. It's like two people in the same team that don't like each other. Like, so if you have 4 people creating your Android app and 4 people creating your Android iOS app, if maybe a boss hits one guy from the iOS team, a guy from the Android team can't just come and help them replace, because it's 2 different languages. They don't like each other. They absolutely hate each other. You know. So what do you do? What do you actually do there? Sorry, my flicker just kind of went off. So a good approach is to use our hybrid app, which is basically an app built with Cordova or PhoneGap. So you would use the web to write your main view, and then you still package this application. And you'd have 100% code reuse. You know, you're going to share all your code. So now you don't need to worry about anything. So if a boss hits one guy from your team, you could just hire another guy the next day, and he would just fit in until a boss hits him too. You know. So we can go ahead. So problem solved, right? Now we can support multiple platforms. Well, not really. So a hybrid app, in essence, is still a web application. You're building it with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. When you use native, native has a lot of great tools. You know, you have components, you have animations, tabs, buttons, navigation, so many great things. But on the web, what do we have? We have div, you know, span, tables if you still use them, you know. That's all we have in the web. We don't really, the web is, it's like just giving you sand, cement, and say, hey, build a house, you know. While native is like, hey, here's an architect, you know, just everything done. So this is the problem with going with hybrid, basically going the hybrid route. And this is where a tool like Ionic actually comes to solve that problem. Now, what is Ionic? Ionic is just an open source SDK that lets you build mobile applications with the web. It's as simple as that. So Ionic is literally just web. It's built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you know all those buttons, animations, all those things that you had in native. Now Ionic has actually gone ahead to build all these tools for you for free, open source, for you to use, so that you don't have to go ahead and do that. Who remembers the fast click problem? You know, when the 300 millisecond delay problem? Like, that was a big thing. It was just like 3 years ago. Like, exactly, because the web wasn't built with that in mind. And so Ionic is built with Angular and the Angular framework. By the way, this is a great, I don't know who did it, but it's great. So it's built with the Angular framework. So you have all the goodness of Angular as part of your Ionic application. And it has a great community. There's actually an Ionic Austrian community right here. So you can, 30,000 stars on GitHub. Some of the Ionic apps that have been built have been funded on Shark Tank. They got like 20 million, 40 million users. Who knows Untapped Beer? Untapped Beer? That's an Ionic application. Exactly. So almost 4 million apps built, very active forum, Slack channel with more than 13,000 people. And then it gives you native-esque components. So now we don't have just div, span, and table, but we have great things like that, you know, the Ion header, the content and area that you can actually use to do stuff. So what Ionic, they do is they go to the native code, and they look at it, they study it, and then they give you the same equivalent to the very level, like little detail in web, so that you don't have to do that. And multilingual support. If I came to Vienna, I told you Ionic did not support multiple languages, I'd probably get shot before I go home. So you can just use the ng2 translate library, and you can support multiple languages. And you can also do right to left support. Because we forget that there's 500 million people in the world that actually read from the right to left, we completely forget. And it has a great CLI tool. If you use Sass, all these great things are there. TypeScript, it has a great error reporting tool. And you can also customize it. So all of us here, when we're using something, we want to know, how do I make it, you know, my company has this specific color, they have these brand guidelines, you know, how do I use this, like, how do I make this, how easy is it for me to, you know, add the brands of my company? And Ionic allows you to do that. You can customize on 3 levels. On a component level, or if I say, okay, I just want to customize only iOS on platform level, or I just want to customize everything, which is on the global level. So you have 3 different levels that you can customize any component. And that's really great. So now do we agree that we've solved our multiple platforms problem? Right? Yeah, I mean, I'll take that. I like that nod. It's like, yeah, I'll take that. So now we need to think about distribution, right? We've developed our app. Now we want to distribute it for the first time, right? Okay. So this is what Android distribution looks like. You pay Google around $100 of your money. You generate a certificate that you can never, ever, ever change. So if you make the mistake of naming your certificate very funny, your app will be funny forever. Code app, you code your application, and then you submit your application, and then it's approved. No approval process, iOS, however, you enroll, you pay Apple $100 every single year. I think it's gone up, actually, every year. You first do what we call provisioning profile, certificates, and all that, which takes 1,001 years to complete. By the time you finish, you have gray hair. And then you code your application. And now you're almost close to dying because you spent all your life trying to get the certificate. So if you do survive, then you now have to submit your application, right? You submit it. And then you have to wait because somebody in Apple has to say, I like your app or I don't like your app. And this can take anything from days to a couple of weeks. And then now, finally, you get an email and you're rejected, right? Because they tell you your app is too ugly, or maybe the guy was just drunk, or he just doesn't like the way you look. So what do? You submit your app again, and then finally, Apple approves you. This is maybe like, by that time, maybe this was your grandson that approved because you died, your son died. It takes a long time. So this is how we distribute today. We solved that problem, right? Now we have a distribution. Okay, so now we want to update our app because Mark Zuckerberg has invested $500 million, and we need to make sure this new version is cool, right? Android. We just code our application, we submit, we get approved. No problem, no approval process. In a couple of hours, we have new update. iOS, however, we code our update, we submit it, we wait for the approval, it can take weeks, and then they get rejected again because Apple does not like anything we do. So because we are good people, we're very honest, what do? We resubmit again, right? And we go, yay, version 101, finally, after we stopped a grandson, so it's your great-great-great-grandson now. Good. Okay. So this is what Apple does to you. They just kick you into the pit. That's exactly what they do. Okay. So we haven't solved our updated distribution, right? So how do we do this? Let's say it's Christmas next week, and my sales team tells me, oh my God, if you change your logo to have Santa hat on top, 300 million people would buy your product, This is good, right? Okay, but we have only 1 week. Okay, so let's try to update our iOS app. We code our app, we submit to the App Store, we wait for approval, takes 2 weeks. This is 2 weeks, so it's already New Year, right? And by the time our app is already New Year. So our users will get an update in January, maybe 5th. Oh, Merry Christmas. And we're like, what? So what if when we want to serve different versions of our app depending on where our users are? Let's say I want my Austria market to see a different thing on my mobile app. What if we want to try a new design, but we only want to test a specific set of users, maybe users that are 80 and they like Sani and they have watched Avatar? We want to choose those users. Or what if we want to fix an emergency bug? And this bug, it could literally save the world. What if? We cannot do that. But on the web, we can do this today. How do we update on the web? You push the Git on Friday. Don't push the Git on Friday. That's it. And what happens? You get the latest version of your app. You just go to www.myverygreatapp.com, and you get the latest version, right? No approval, no app store. Simple. We can do anything. Your boss can call you on a Saturday morning, oh my God, there's a bug, and you fix it, right? But why can't we do this with mobile apps? The reason is the code from the native apps, it is compiled. It is compiled code. While on the web, it's just HTML, it's CSS, it's just content. Okay, but remember, we talked about the hybrid approach. with Ionic and everything, that bit is, it's still web. So, shouldn't we be able to just change that part just like we do in the web app? Well, yes, we can. Of course we can. It's a web application. So how do we do that? Let me explain how that works. You have your code, which sits on top of Ionic, which sits on top of Angular. And then all that is wrapped around a web view. A web view is what allows you to show web content from a native app. When you click your Facebook app, a link on your Facebook, what happens? A page comes up within Facebook, right, to show you a web page. It doesn't take you out to Safari or Chrome. That is a web view. And all that is in a thin native app container. So we can change only the white bit because it's HTML, right? OK. And this is where something called a great technology called Ionic Deploy comes in. Ionic Deploy is developed by Ionic, and it's part of the Ionic IO suite of tools. It allows you to push live updates to your mobile application without the App Store. And it's free. So how does it work? When you push an update to your Ionic app, the update is detected, it is downloaded, extracted, and then it's displayed. All this time, your user is just using their app normally. I've talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked. Let me show you something, right? Now, before I show you anything, this could go horribly wrong because this depends on how good the Wi-Fi is. And I'm bold enough to do this, but let's just go ahead and try this. OK. So I have this my app here. Everybody can see the emulator. Try make it bigger. Bigger. 75%. Bigger. Good. OK. So I have this app. Let me open my application. Yes. Let us launch, let us launch, let us launch. OK, let's just make sure the internet is actually not flaky right now. So let's try to go to Twitter. Aha, you see? The internet is flaky, but I prepared. I have hotspot. You see? I have hotspot. It's always good to prepare. So I'll just turn on my hotspot. We are developers. Thank you very much. It had to happen now. Don't worry, guys. We will see this. So I've just turned on my hotspot now. Just give me a second. Yes, there we go. We should see AWA. There we go. Oh, I think the internet is back. Oh, yeah, it's back. So we can go back to... Should we give WeAreDevelopers a chance? Yeah, let's give them a chance. So guys, let's just wait for the Wi-Fi to connect. Come on, Wi-Fi. I'm on a clock here. What kind of Wi-Fi does take so long? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, this is really scary, by the way. OK, so let's just test the internet again. Let's see. OK, it works. We are developers. It works. OK, so let me just do this again. Let me close this application, open it. Yeah, let's just wait. And let's wait for our app to actually load up. So you see Avatar, the greatest movie that ever lived, All the great, look at all these beautiful people. Oh, my God. Beautiful, beautiful people. So, but we have an update. So let's open our code. So let's go to code. And now what we want to do is we want to add another tab here that I've actually already coded, and I save, right? And now we want to see what this application is. If this was native, what would we do? We submit to the App Store. We wait 2 weeks. We die. Our children die. Then the update comes. So now what we do, let's just run a simple command, Ionic upload, deploy production. So again, Wi-Fi. So we wait for this to build, and then this gets uploaded to the Ionic server, and then we'll have our application. So mind you, I haven't done anything. I haven't reloaded this application yet. This is still our app running. We can see beautiful Trudy Chapman. We can see all these great people. Look at this guy. Come on. I would marry him. So we wait for our snapshot to upload. So the internet has finally come. Fingers crossed. Let's wait. Hey! Right? OK. So now what do we do? So what I want to do is I just want to close my app. I go to sleep. I open my app again. Now let's wait. What do I see? Update available. Okay, what is this? Let's update now. Let's see what happens. Let's just wait for it. What do we see? A new tab that shows us the greatest avatar ever. We've been able to update this app live. We have not gone through the App Store. We have not gone through the Google Play Store. But what have we seen? An update. I think this is awesome. By the way, this is the greatest avatar ever. So I thought that was awesome. That was great to see. I thought that was awesome. You know, yes, Wi-Fi, you worked. Because you can do anything now. This could be, for example, let's say this could be a bug you were fixing. This could be Santa. You want to put the Santa hat. Immediately, your users get it live. Your users don't have to go to the App Store. You don't have to push to the App Store. They just get that update live, like every other web page. You know, so now you can solve all those problems. Do you know what else you can do? What if I want to show maybe people that are 15 below on my app, a specific version of my app? I can do that. What if I want to test a new design? I want to make sure only people that watch Avatar can get this new design. I can do that. You can push different live updates. So what are the features? You create snapshots. Every time you push the update, you create a snapshot. It's like you create a Git commit, you know? And that snapshot has a unique identifier. Just like when you create a Git commit, right? And you can also put a message, and you can roll back. What if the users like the older one? You don't need to go to the App Store. You can just roll back, just like you're using Git. And also, you can create channels. So I push to the production channel, but you can also push to development, staging, but you can also push to any other channels you create. Like you can create a Brexit channel for everybody that's living in Europe, you know, and push an update. Great. Don't worry, I'm from England, so it's fine. So you can create custom channels, not just production staging. That way you can test before your update works. What is the magic command I ran? I did Ionic upload, -- deploy, and then I specified a channel. For it was production. And then space note if you want to like git commit, basically -- a message. So you can say, okay, this is an update to make sure Santa is happy or anything. You can do that. And you can also delete these snapshots, create them. You can roll back to different snapshots at every time. So what are other cool stuff I might want to show you? Ionic View app is a great one. Who knows how difficult it is to test an iOS application? Yeah, you have to go on provisioning profile, ad hoc profile, and test flight. Then you die, then somebody else dies, and then finally you can test your app. But with the Ionic View app, you just download the Ionic View app, you do the Ionic upload, and that's it. You can just, the Ionic View app becomes your application, and you can test it live. So if you have someone all the way all over the world, you don't need to tell them, oh, what is your unique identifier? No, they don't know that. Just tell them download the Ionic View app and send them an email, and then they can test the app anywhere, anytime. Progressive web apps. Ionic plays well with progressive web apps. In fact, I have a lot of progressive web apps that I've created. I've created a Televivo, the Netflix and Chill. Don't get too excited. It's a great app. And progressive web apps are basically offline first applications, mobile applications that allow you to install them, just like every other application. So Ionic plays very well with what's it called? I think one thing I need to show you is how well Ionic, sorry for that. So I have my local host running. Let me show you the Ionic lab. We have a bug. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so we go here. We should have 3 bugs here. So bug, another bug, and another bug. This is how Ionic shows. This is the same code running. But you can see how they look all different in each platform by default. No if and else. You can see on Android, the header is on the left by default. You can see on iOS, the icons are different. The tabs are different. And on Windows, if you still use Windows Phone, it's there. This is the same 100% code running. So I've written this code once, but I have 3 apps already. And also, Ionic support desktop. So you can have apps like Slack running, which are on the desktop. So this is really, really cool as well. And you get all these things for free. The animations, you don't need to. And if you want to change them, you can change them. So let's go back to the presentation and quickly round up. So there's also other tools in Ionic Cloud. Ionic have a push notifications that you can actually use a curse with your application. They have a auth, which you can use to authenticate your users, like with 2 lines, like user.signin. You know how difficult it is to write an authentication by yourself? I would not want to do that. Analytics. You want to know what your users are doing. You know, how many calories are they eating? How many times do they turn off my phone? You can check that. And you can use deploy, which we've already just used. And then package. What if I have a PC? I don't have a Mac. How do I develop for iPhone? Great. You just use package. You develop it in the cloud. You package your app in the cloud. So these are just for me to round up. You know, now you can have one app, one code. 4 apps, as many as you want, one code. 100% code reuse. Very cost-effective, very quick, and it's just web. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. My little brother can write that. And you can now update whenever, wherever, however, whatever you want. So to get started today, you can go to the Ionic framework. Oh, I hope that's visible. You can go to Get Started. You can go to the forum. You can go to join our Slack, Ionic Worldwide. You can go to Josh Maroney. He's like a great guy. He blogs about Ionic all the time from Australia. He's really good. You should check his blogs. You can check my blog too, you know, saniyusuf.com. I write sometimes. And you can remember, at Sani Yusuf everywhere. If you find anybody that's using that username and it's not me, let me know. Feel free. And with that said, that's the end of my presentation, and I'll welcome any questions. Thank you very much for having me in Vienna.
Nice. Thank you, Sani. So, are there any questions in here? Yep. See hands. Nice.
Hi.
Hello.
Has Apple voiced its opinion on iOS deploy?
Yes, I'll tell you about that. I knew that question was coming. So before, Apple actually did not like Ionic deploy and things that they didn't accept up. But they changed their terms and conditions to say, we don't like it, but we would just, as long as you do not maybe make a kids application, and then after your first deploy, you change it to like a very, very interesting type of application, Apple will ban you. So as long as you don't change what the app is doing, you don't want to make a kids application and it becomes a gambling application after your first update, they will be fine. They've written, so they're fine with this. They will not reject your app for that. They've stopped doing that. Exactly. Next question, if there's...
Well, I think I wanted to ask the same question. The second one would be, what are the costs for
Ionic deploy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 100% free. Yeah, you heard free. Yeah.
How does it pay off for you?
I can't hear you.
How does it pay off for Ionic?
Ionic are great people. They want to make your life great. That's the whole point. That's all they are here to do. You know, why would they want to charge you for something so great? The best things in life are free. There we go. Questions there, I think? Oh, are we running out of? Oh, bang on time.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, does Ionic deploy also work for Ionic 1?
Ionic 1. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it was developed at Ionic 1. So you really should move to Ionic 3 now. Like,
no, but the app is already existing.
Yes. It does work for Ionic 1.
Okay.
The Ionic Cloud, yeah, it supports, it's platform independent. It does work for that, yes.
Okay, thank you.
No, welcome. Any?
All right.
There,
Anyone else?
there are no stupid questions, only the ones that are not asked.
No hands? Okay. Hand.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell me what's new in Ionic 3?
What's new?
Yep.
Number 1, lazy loading. Now you can lazy load.
Okay.
And so that means your app now launches even much faster. So that's the main thing. And then a lot of the changes are behind the scene. Nothing really for you. The lazy loading is the biggest part of the majority changes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Sorry, before we go, can I do one thing? I always do this in every of my talk. I'm a crazy guy. You guys have noticed by now, right? Yeah. So if everybody could go like, yay! Yay! There we go. All right, guys. Thank you very much for having me. If there are no questions.
Thank you very much, Sani.